Alright guys, I've got Blown HJ out of the showroom, so we're outside the factory at the rod shop. Now we've got a little bit of prep work to do, and then I'm going to take it out, I'm going to shred a few sets of tyres. So come along for the ride, hope you enjoy. Right, so the car's outside the factory here. Now I want to give you a quick rundown of what the story is and why I am skidding this car. Now we've all seen the big fella Barry Hall's been driving it recently. And he's moved away, he's up the Gold Coast now, so good luck to him enjoying the good life, and hope you don't get burned up there, big fella. My car is stuck in the States, so I'd prefer Warbird, I'll be honest, it's my favourite car, and the boys' pride and joy here. But I am now in Blown HJ, and I'm wrapped behind the wheel. I mean, this thing's awesome to drive. I've only ever driven it with the carbies on. Now that brings me to what we have done on the car. Now we have changed the setup on top, so we're going to mechanical injection. We've gone for a cool looking hat, which I think suits the car, and we've also gone with the new look down the side. So the guys at GQ Signs altered a bit of the wrap work that we bought off the internet, which you guys would have seen on past episodes. I'll take you around and show you what these guys have come up with. So I reckon he's done an awesome job. So I have got the car out. My good mate Benny Nogas has just showed up. He's the mechanic, he's the brains behind all my engines. You've seen what he's done on the Warbird, the Tirana, he works on Killer Bee. So I pretty much do what I'm told there. I have all the fun on the pad there, and Benny does all the tuning and dialing it in and does all the abuse when I do something wrong. So we had issues with oil, it was milking up. So I'm gonna get Benny to run you guys through what we have to do to prep it up for this weekend. All right, so a couple of things I want to touch on before we go across to Benny. Now, Benny is standing here with me. You can see I'm not wearing a mask. We are outside the factory, and Benny's not going to wear a mask either. We're getting a lot of feedback from you guys. It's hard to hear with the mask on, or I know myself, it's really hard to see without reading the lips when a lot of guys are talking. So we're keeping it 1.5, and that's why I've gone to the GoPro. I've eliminated the cameraman. We're trying to follow all the rules the best we can. So I'm going to run most of this with the GoPro. And whoever's filming will be doing by themselves. So I'll take you to the track with the GoPro, the whole thing. So if you guys that want to be negative about us not wearing a mask on there, save your energy, don't bother typing. And I hope you enjoy what Benny has to tell you about the engine. Now I'm going to hand it over. I'm going to get back in to work. It's not quite the weekend yet. Some of us have got work to do. So I'll throw you to Benny. I'll be back out shortly, and hopefully we'll have this thing running.
Yeah, so obviously a lot of things have changed on the HJ. Obviously you've seen on other episodes on what we've done to it in the build process. Our biggest issue we have at the moment is milking oil, and it not wanting to idle on low RPM. So we've spoken to a lot of people. They've given us a fair few tips on what to do and what to steer us in the right direction. You know, even just little things of you know, blocking air bleeds off. We've thrown a lot of fuel out of it at idle, because it's obviously sucking air. Such a big injector hat on such a small engine sucks a lot of air around the butterflies and bits and pieces like that. So the idle does pick up. So throwing more fuel out of it does shut it up at idle, but then you have milking of the oil issues. So especially being wet sump, not dry sump, we can't really preheat the oil to try and get some fuel out of it. So yeah, so we'll go over it and check it all out and make sure everything's all happy. Seems Mark's going to take it out Sunday and give it a hard time, so I'll jump in it and get it to crank and make sure everything's all right on that side of it before I go get Mark. Mark's inside selling on the phones, dealing with customers. The rod shop's obviously during the week now, so the rod shop is still open, and Mark's flat out dealing with everything. So yeah, I'll get this thing running and get it all ready to fire up, and we'll get Mark out here to get it running. So we'll see how we go. Obviously these things sit around for a little while. Yeah, you don't know what happens to them when they sit around. Obviously with methanol, things corrode up and, you know, go hard, and all the lines. Methanol is not a very nice fuel. It chews lines up and all that sort of stuff, so bear with me. I'm going to jump in here and see if this thing will at least crank, and so show some sign of starting before I go get Mark. There's nothing more than you go get him ready to fire up, and then you go to kick her in the guts and nothing happens. So make sure everything's all happy and we have some sort of power So yeah, rear fuel pump kicks on, so I reckon she's gonna crank. So we'll give her a crank. That's definitely the noise we want to hear. So I'll get the fuel squirter. I don't know if some of you know, with methanol, it's a terrible fuel to start when it's cold. Does not want to start, so we usually throw some petrol down the haut, and that just helps it, gives its first kick over, and especially having all the fuel lines there, and over here we've had them all apart, so they're all empty. So especially a mechanical pump, it's got to pump it, so as it cranks, give it a little bit of unleaded down the helmet, and yeah, it gives it that little bit help on starting. So, but by the feel of it, that's how much burnout action we've had lately. The old spray bottle, she empty. So I'll go get Marcus to go get some unleaded for me, and yeah, we'll be back soon. Yeah, so I just rang Mark. He's up at the house next door to the rod shop. He reckons he's got some fuel, and he's got a new whip that he reckons he's got to drive around now, since Cletus has got the Warbird. So he's gonna pull up any second. So oh, I can hear something. Oh yeah. Oh, look at this.
Hey?
There's your new whip.
Well, we had no fuel in the shed, so I've gone over next door and I've pinched Nan's sweet little buggy. So in amongst that, the fuel for the mower out of the mower shed.
What have we got?
How about that? So this is the original SoCal rocket the guys just take out to the lake there. So we've got Bonneville. This was their Bonneville cruising around rocket, I think, and it had a bit of a bimini and that in the day. But
did it come with the dirt and the plants and stuff? Yeah,
dirt. So how about I'll do the fuel, you do the pruning?
Yeah, it sounds good. All right, we'll throw some fuel in this thing, and let's kick in the guts.
Righto, so we're back. I'm out of my sweet Chariot ride. We've got Benny up front there, which he's got just the fuel, so we use whatever's laying around, chainsaw fuel, two-stroke, petrol, whatever, but whatever's normally laying around. So we'll hop in the seat here, and I will do what I'm instructed to do by Benny, throw them up there. So normally first thing is isolator. Yep, we're all good. What do you want, Benny?
I've cranked it, so it should be right. Fuel shut off on, parked, it's in park, yeah. Give that a whirl.
Have you got fuel in the header tank?
Yeah, I flicked it on before, so it should be full.
All good?
Yeah.
All right, so roll it up. Yep. You fueled it?
Yep.
Righto, so my main thing that I've got to check is that little gauge there.
That's a good sign.
Happy with that?
Happy with that.
All right, if you guys picked up on that oil there, so Benny's spraying a bit more fuel down it.
Try that.
The oil just kicked up to 30, so we'll go again. Go again. That's the problem with this methanol stuff. Once you get it running and once you get it hot, it doesn't seem too bad, but when it's sat around for a long time, happens with oil engines, takes forever to get them to go. Once you do, like I said, we're all good.
Try that again.
Right, that wasn't supposed to happen, so Benny's been playing with the hat there, and obviously something stuck on a little bit, so obviously that's the first thing we're going to rectify before the weekend. So we'll just run through that. We just got the first fire up, and as you guys heard, we have massive RPM. So Benny, run us through. What are we thinking, mate?
I just think, to be honest with you, I reckon the spring, the return spring's not pulling hard enough. Only got little springs on it, so I might adjust them and get them a little bit tighter. But I might throw a little bit of fuel down it. As I said before, like, it's hard to get it idle and look after the fuel, or the oil, sorry. So, it's doing a lot better than what it was. So, but that's, you know, for startups and stuff like that, and you know, the amount of times I've started up, I'm to be honest, I'm pretty happy with that. So, it obviously hasn't got a massive amount of heat in it. As soon as it gets really hot, it'll probably suck most of that out. So, but I'm pretty happy with that. So, try to get the idle down a little bit more. But yeah, I think we're moving forward, so, which is good.
All right, so Benny will have a quick tinker with that. Once he does, we'll start it up. Hopefully he's all good. Run through the gears and keep you guys informed. All right, so Benny's just sent me the text to say that we're right to go for take 2. He's just adjusted a couple of things for us. What have we done there, mate?
We've tightened this, lowered this arm. So then that was up like that. So we've lowered that. So them springs now are much harder, more tension on them. And I'm putting 2 more springs on this side. So then that will be up like that. So if you hit the throttle now, it snaps back. But still, yeah, still not 100% happy on how the blades are sitting in the fascia, I guess you'd call that. So yeah, so
we can adjust them.
You can, but yeah, we've played with them, but we just can't seem to get them happy. But
that's what happens when you buy a second-hand hat.
Pretty much, but trial and error, we'll work it out.
All right, I'll get back in the cockpit, spit it out, and we'll wait for the call. Right, we're going for take 2. Benny's ready, give me the nod. So, isolator on, you see our tacho flick around, which is all good. Now this thing here runs an ignition switch. So we have power, we got a flicker of a light. I normally just run the pump from the rear, it'll fill the header tank at the front, and the mechanical pump will do the work. So we'll just top that up from before. Which way that pumps, that will be ample. So right to go, mate?
Yeah, mate. Marcus, is your fuel on?
All right, now that's my fault. So as we can see, little fuel there. Now without that, we had no fuel. That's a rookie mistake. Benny thinks it's great. Try again. Alright, so while the car's running, what I'm planning is we'll run through the gears, we'll ratchet them all. It's been sitting around for a long time, so I'll throw you around with Benny, I'll just run it up and down and we'll make sure it all works. Righto, so I'm happy with the sound. Benny, engine?
Yeah, much better. Yeah, idle and heat's better and doing everything right. So Yep.
All right.
Good.
So we're ready to go. Confident?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Benny's going to shoot off. We're going to load the car in a couple of days' time. We're going to get out to Heathcote now. If you guys enjoyed this, jump back on early next week. We're going to have some more footage, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm off the wall. The engine's in one piece.
So some rims, some blown tyres on the floor would be good.
Blown tyres. Thanks again for watching. Like, subscribe. See you next week.